It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a submarine. It's a boat. It's an ambulance. It's a fire engine. It's a rocket launcher. It's a gun. It's a sword. It's a machine gun. It's a lightning bolt. It's a magic wand. It's a harpoon. It's a transmitter. It's a microphone. It's a pen. It's not a Noctowl, apparently. And it just keeps going. I had to stop it here, cause...
Ah, you seem to be dependable. How would you like to help me out? See, this is the latest version of Pokedex. It automatically records data on Pokemon you've seen or caught. It's a high-tech encyclopedia. Cheese received Pokedex. Go meet many kinds of Pokemon and complete that Pokedex. Cheese, I'm counting on you. Yeah, just leave it to me.
Hey, you're watching the highlight video. This is gonna be all the starters, and whichever entries I found to be the most interesting. I recommend this version of the video for those busy Beedrills out there who don't have that much time to listen to some guy read out, like, computer-generated text. If you're interested in the full version of the video, you'll find it in a link in the description below.
Well, hello there, and welcome to the AI Pokedex, Johto Edition. I'm sure that Professors Oak and Elm are gonna absolutely love what, we come up with during this episode. You might actually notice we're using a different AI than last time. There's no Galarian Unicorn in the corner this time. Now there's just this, shape. I don't know what Pokemon this is. Cryogonal? It's called Hyper Right AI. Sounds pretty fancy. It was actually suggested by one of the viewers in the community post I made about this. So thanks for the suggestion. And let's see how this one works. And if it's awful, we'll go back to the old one. But I have some high hopes. I don't actually know how this is different or how to manipulate it. So let's discovering together. We are starting off with the very first Pokemon in the Johto Dex. It is Chikorita. Absolute trash in game. Maybe the AI can make it sound better than it is. So Gold, Silver, and Crystal actually all have unique entries. I think for now I'm just going to pick like a random one, but maybe we'll try putting in multiple and seeing if that actually gives us more accurate results, since it'll actually have, more to work off of. So let's see. This is the gold entry. A sweet aroma gently wafts from the leaf on its head. It is docile and loves to soak up the sun's rays. So I don't actually know how to make this generate. Do I just press enter? That doesn't work. I maybe have to hit this thing. Ooh, that looks like that looks like that's what works. It's thinking. Okay, more things where I have to like choose. Okay. It gently clambers over the dirty litter, looking for that perfect place to lay its head. It is a rare and beautiful flower. It is a gentle and curious flower. The flower is on the head of a butterfly. The butterfly is a wand. Rust creature, a miracle of nature. It is a creature of the air and of the sun. I mean, that's like nice, right? I think it's actually a little bit too normal. We somehow turned it into a bug type, but I mean, it's not that crazy. Oh, it looks like we forgot to enter a descriptive title. So how about, legitimate, Johto field research? Yeah, that's definitely what we're doing here. Alright, we got Bayleaf. And this time I actually added in both the gold and silver entries, so let's see if this does anything a little different. The scent of spices comes from around its neck. Somehow, sniffing it makes you want to fight. A spicy aroma emanates from around its neck. The aroma acts as a stimulant to restore health. A trainer named Moria, a part-time trainer, part-time ninja, challenged me to fight against the legendary Pokemon Johto Cup champion, the legendary Pokemon Lugia. I'm not really sure why I had to fight against Lugia, other than the fact that I was a new trainer, and he was the champion. Now, I had nothing against Lugia, but I just felt like I needed to fight him. Perhaps the trainer who challenged me was a bit delusional, thinking I was gonna win. But I was not delusional. I was gonna win. That's why I'm writing this post. And that's where it ends. Yeah, so, I mean, it's only a second form of our starter, and we're already fighting the champion of the Johto region, who is Lugia, apparently. And we won, which is why we're bragging about it in this post. Get wrecked, Lugia. Can't even beat the second form of the worst starter ever. This is Meganium's entry, and we gave it all 3 entries, so gold, silver, and crystal. This has got a lot to work with. Let's see how it turns out.
The aroma that rises from its petals contains a substance that calms aggressive feelings. Meganium's breath has the power to revive dead grass and plants. It can make them healthy again. Anyone who stands beside it becomes refreshed, just as if they were relaxing in a sunny forest. It is a rare flower that blooms in the spring, with its petals bearing the same shape as the moon. It grows in a fertile plain, in the shadow of the giant tree, and it is said to only bloom when the moon is full. Legitimate Johto field research is a J-Town fanfic I wrote in 2003, and it was originally published on my fanfiction.net profile in 2006. If you want to read the full story, you can find it here. So, we went from a middle paragraph, which was kind of cool. It was almost as if it was a grass and fairy type, like Meganium should be, Moonblast. And then it just starts shilling for my J-Town fanfic. And even though I wrote it in 2003, I waited 3 more years to post it. And if you want to read the full story, or if you want to watch the full version of this video, I guess check out the description, because there's nothing here. Cyndaquil. And I think we're giving a little bit too much information to the AI, so I'm going with just the crystal entry here. The fire that spouts from its back burns hottest when it is angry. The flaring flames intimidate foes. Ugh, the fire spits. I don't like this. I don't either, the fire says. I don't like the idea of being used as a weapon, but I'm not sure I have a choice. The only thing that's gonna stop me from using you is if I can get to your heart, the fire says. And I've never been able to, ? But it's not your heart that I want, the fire says. It's yours. Really? The fire says. That's interesting. I'd love to. I'm not really sure what's going on here. The fire is talking to itself, going on a whole bonus Kingdom Hearts story arc. Ending with maybe a happy ending here. Looks like there's been some amends. They'd love to do something. And we don't know what. Find out in Kingdom Hearts 4, coming in 2050. Maybe. Probably not. Nomura, what are you doing? Quilava! This Pokemon is fully covered by non-flammable fur. It can withstand any kind of fire attack. This Pokemon was originally created as a prank by a group of hackers who wanted to take over the internet. They wanted to make a fun joke, but they also wanted to show how vulnerable the internet is to hacking. They found a way to make a Pokemon with fur that won't burn. Now that Pokemon exists, it's hard to imagine the internet without it. This Pokemon is a perfect example of how the internet has allowed us to share stories, ideas, and art that would have never existed without it. As a creative, I embrace the internet. I love it. I love the community it has created. I love the way it has... It's just a prank, bro. I love how the fact that Quilava has fur that won't burn just has nothing to do with the rest of this. Typhlosion. It has a secret, devastating move. It rubs its blazing fur together to cause huge explosions. If it explodes, the entire area will be devastated. It can use its powerful ears to listen to the thoughts of its enemies. It can even make its enemies do things. It can also use its ears to listen to the thoughts of its allies. It can even make its allies do things. But it can't use its ears to listen to the thoughts of its friends. It can't make its friends do anything. This might be because the friend is a Squirtle. It doesn't matter if the Squirtle is a friend or an enemy. The point is that the Squirtle is a Squirtle. Squirt. No comments. Totodile. This rough critter chomps at any moving object it sees. Turning your back on it is not recommended. Title: Ailing Ampharos. Body: this Ampharos is suffering from a ton of health issues. He's been poked, prodded, and poked some more. He's been poked so much that he's now covered in holes. He's been poked so much that he can't move anymore. He's been poked so much that he's now dying. He's been poked so much that he's now in the ground. Weak to ground. Crocodile. The tips of its fangs are slanted backwards. Once those fangs clamp down, the prey has no hope of escape. The canine snaps forward, and the prey is gone. The team leader of Team Blue, A young man not much older than me. Had a name. It was an unusual name. I had never heard it before, and yet I had seen it before. I had seen it on a website. "Welcome to this exciting new field research project," the young man said. "You'll be spending the next few weeks living in Japan, participating in the lives of real Japanese people." "Whoa," I said. "What about my life?" "That will continue," the young man said. "But we're all going to be spending our time in Japan, and there's not much you can do about it." "So you're not going to let me go home?" I asked. "Nope," the young man said. "You." Is this about Croconaw or about me? I've been abducted for legitimate Johto field research taking place in Japan right now. And he's not going to let me go home. He says, "No, I am home." We might want to get rid of this title, because it might be giving the AI a bit too much information. Also, I love how the prey has no hope of escape, and then immediately the prey is gone. For alligator. When it bites with its massive and powerful jaws, it shakes its head and savagely tears its victim up. Its teeth are so sharp that they can cut through bone. The jaws are so large that they can swallow a small car. The jaws are so powerful that they've been known to rip the feet off a horse. But the bite is not the shark's most dangerous weapon. The shark's most deadly weapon is its ability to sense and track prey. And that's what makes it so terrifying. A shark's sense of smell and hearing are like a bat's, but it can also detect prey through a combination of magnetism, pressure, and temperature changes. In fact, the shark's sense of smell is so acute that it can even detect the faint traces of blood leaking from a wounded seal. A shark. Wow, aside from the fact that this is, about an alligator and not a shark, this is pretty good. This is like a legitimate scientific entry. Maybe this AI is too good at being accurate. It actually ended up giving us legitimate field research. Almost got the species wrong. Sentret. When acting as a lookout, it warns others of danger by screeching and hitting the ground with its tail. Title. Why do we refer to something as legitimate? Title. My life. Body. I'm a young man, living in a small town in the southern United States. My name is Samuel. I've been married for 2 years to a woman I call Tina. She is a pretty woman with short brown hair and a soft, round face. We have a beautiful daughter who is about a year old now. She has been sickly since birth. The doctors say that she has a serious kidney condition, and that if she doesn't get a kidney transplant soon, she will die soon. Her mother had died of the same condition, and her father died when she was a baby. I want to do everything I can to save my wife and daughter, but I'm worried that the government will not approve of our actions. I am a member of the United States Army. Oh no. It's the legend of Samuel from the southern United States. I'm married to a wonderful woman that I call Tina. I have no idea what her actual name is. I've never asked. I just call her Tina. And apparently I'm writing this entire thing from beyond the grave, right? Because according to this, I'm dead. Is this Pokemon or is it Yokai Watch? Yokai Watch, great game, you should play it. Furret. It makes a nest to suit its long and skinny body. The nest is impossible for other Pokemon to enter. It only makes a nest for itself. Pokemon is my favorite TV show. I've seen the anime, Japanese animated version, a few times, but I've never watched the original American version. I've never been able to get into the show. I've tried. I've tried really hard. I've watched the first few episodes before giving up. I've read the manga, Japanese comic book, a few times and still can't get into it. I like to think I'm a Pokemon fan. I love the anime. I love the games, Nintendo's. I love the trading cards. I love the characters. I love the music. I don't like the show. I see the show as the ultimate example of an American pop culture phenomenon. There are millions of Americans. Hardcore shilling. Well, we just talked about yokai, so I guess we're back on topic with Pokemon. And we are really, really gonna talk about Pokemon. Just every aspect of it. Didn't learn that much about Furret, though. Come on. Hoot hoot. It begins to hoot at the same time every day. Some trainers use them in place of clocks. In the wild, they fly in a V shape. Their large eyes point forward. They are also known as nest-hooting mimics. The Tidy Pile. a pile of things you can't find their home for. Usually, it's a pile of socks or shoes. The tidy pile is an interesting phenomenon. In the wild, you'll find them in the most chaotic places. They are usually found in the rooms of people who are inflexible in their daily habits. They are usually found in the living rooms of people who wear the same socks every day. They are usually found in the rooms of people who keep their towels in a pile in the bathroom. They are the perfect symbol. Viewer, have you changed your socks today? Don't wear the same socks every day or else Hoot Hoot's gonna fly at you in a V shape. And don't keep your towels in a pile in the bathroom either. This is a lifestyle PSA. Noctowl. When it needs to think, it rotates its head 180 degrees to sharpen its intellectual power. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a submarine. It's a boat. It's an ambulance. It's a fire engine. It's a rocket launcher. It's a gun. It's a sword. It's a machine gun. It's a lightning bolt. It's a magic wand. It's a harpoon. It's a transmitter. It's a microphone. It's a pen. It's not a Noctowl, apparently. And it just keeps going. I had to stop it here, cause... Crobat. As a result of its pursuit of faster, yet more silent flight, a new set of wings grew on its hind legs. It had evolved a larger set of teeth, which it now used to better masticate the local vegetation. It was an unstoppable phenomenon. However, just as it was becoming too large and powerful for the environment, it developed a large appetite for human flesh. The death and suffering of its victims was, for it, a fulfilling and necessary part of its existence. The human race, frantic for survival, created a meat packaging facility, and the rest, as they say, is history. It is a beautiful, yet terrible thing to witness the birth of such a creature. Oh my goodness. その日、人類は思い出した。クロバットに支配された恐怖を。Hey, it's got good stats! Chinchou. Chinchou? It shoots positive and negative electricity between the tips of its two antennae and zaps its enemies. Then it becomes a bulldozer and blasts the enemy square in the face. Then it becomes a living swarm of insects and slowly begins to eat the enemy. Then it becomes an army of giant dolls that rampage through the enemy's ranks. Any ideas for a good name? Any ideas for a good name? Spoiler. Who's it made by? Thank you. I'm honestly sorry for the delay. I was having issues with my internet. Well, any ideas for a good name, viewer? Leave them in the comments. Igglybuff. Its extremely flexible and elastic body makes it bounce continuously. Anytime, anywhere. Bouncing at the drive-in. I found a dead leaf and then held it up to my eye, but I couldn't see it. So I went to the university and researched its anatomy and discovered that its body functions as a cell phone. It can receive calls and beep, and has a long list of benefits. It can even play instruments. It even has a picture of me on it. It has a history of being used on college campuses as a way to schedule. People were allowed to schedule lunches and classes by willy-nilly. Even though the leaf can play music. I will now teach it to play I Found Me a Leaf to Bouncin' by Gucci Mane. Forget the iPhone, get an Igglybuff. It's got all the features. It's got all the benefits, a long list of them. Togepi. A proverb claims that happiness will come to anyone who can make a sleeping Togepi stand up. This is false. I was born an adult to a poor family, and my parents were the only ones that deserved free happiness. On our first day in the orphanage, I was given the task of waking up Togepi. It was a project I'd gladly take on. My first impression of Togepi was that it was a happy-go-lucky kind of Togepi, but it was easy to see its potential. One Togepi was not enough for a day, so I took 2 more Togepis I had lying around the orphanage and put them on a shelf. I then named my new Togepis Quit and Go, for the obvious reason. Dear viewer, if you can discern the obvious reason, please let me know, because I don't know why I decided to name them Quit and Go. I mean, can't make a video without putting a few Togepis on the shelf, I guess.
Johto.
In South America, it is said that its right eye sees the future and its left eye views the past. The right eye is called the Eye of God, and the left eye is the Eye of Satan. But the right eye isn't just some superstition. The combination of the right and left eye, known as the Wood of the Almighty, can predict future events. In order to test this, a secret agent from the FBI is recruited to become a human mule and to move in and out of a maximum security prison called the Vault. In order to do this, the agent must pass a series of tests. But what will happen when tests reveal the agent has been spied on by an unknown enemy? Spoiler. Title: Agent 1, Vault 0. Spoiler. Title: Agent 0, Vault 1. Is this the test? I guess I can't figure it out. I'm never gonna make it into the vault. Also, Sasuke Uchiha, eat your heart out. You might have powerful eyes, but you don't have the Eye of God and the Eye of Satan. Alright, Fluffy. Its fluffy fleece easily stores electricity. Its rubbery hide keeps it from being electrocuted. I can't believe I live in a world where I just wrote that sentence. The creature is a Dr. First spiteworm. They were invented by Dr. Isadora First, an escapee from a government experiment who had lost her fortune in the stock market crash of the late 70s. Dr. First believed that the world was becoming more and more depraved. The rise of gay rights, feminism, and the usual social progress we have all come to know and love were all contributing factors to her paranoia. She decided to create a line of inventions to protect our beloved America from these threats to the nation. She created a series of electrified materials to protect our national monuments from vandals that might want to do damage to them. This went from an entry about Flaffy to like a Fox News broadcast. Alright, well, Dr. First, too bad for you, because gay rights, feminism, and social progress, it's here to stay. No matter what your spiteworm says about it. Azumarill. When it plays in water, it rolls up its elongated ears to prevent their insides from getting wet. When it's threatened, it can create a paralyzing fluid that causes short-term blindness in its foe. And if you touch its body, you'll die from massive blood loss. And if you touch its eyes, you'll die from massive blood loss. And if you tell it the wrong thing, it'll kill you. So yeah, I'm totally legit with my field research. I'm also scared as shit, but I'm not gonna tell you that, because it's incredibly lame. I'm still in the same room as the thing that's threatening my life. It's a damn armadillo. I knew Azumarill with pure power was strong, but I didn't know it was this strong. Sudowoodo. If a tree branch shakes when there is no wind, it's a Sudowoodo, not a tree. It hides from the rain. It doesn't change color in the sun. It's a tree. It's a tree in a forest. It makes no noise. It's a tree. But if it shakes with a greater force than its own weight, then that's a Sudowoodo. Because a Sudowoodo can do things that no tree can do, like crack a city in half. I've seen it. I've been there. It's the nightmare of a city that no one wanted, that no one could have predicted. I talk to the developers. I tell them I know there's something different about it, something strange. They don't believe me. They don't care. They want to build their crappy condos. They want their money. So I do my own research, and I find something. It's a monster, like a bad dream. Masada, I told you about Sudowoodo, okay? You gotta save us from its rampage. It's cracking the city in half. Quit building your Pokemon condos, alright? Help us! Murkrow. It hides any shiny objects it finds in a secret location. Murkrow and Meowth loot one another's stashes. Meowth opens his mouth to tell Murkrow all he knows, but he gets interrupted by a giant blob of cotton candy. Hello? Murkrow's jaw drops as she grins. You're not wearing a hat, are you? Meowth furrows his silver brow. No. Why would I be wearing a hat when I'm about to get hit in the head with cotton candy? Murkrow shrugs. Good choice. You would have gotten hit in the head if it had been a hat. It would have fallen off. So let it be known that hats do not increase your defense against cotton candy strikes. And in an alternate universe, this dialogue is like really cute. It's almost a real conversation. Steelix. It is said that if an onyx lives for over 100 years, its composition changes to become diamond-like. Given enough time, anything can happen, even to an onyx. So it was with Flynn. Flynn came about 100 years ago. He was an onyx like no other onyx ever existed. He was, in fact, the first onyx. Standing at a massive height of 10'2", he was the height of a normal onyx. He was robust and strong. He had a unique, twisted protuberance protruding from his shoulders. It was a crest of hair that seemed to grow out of his shoulder blades. It was springy and thick, like a young, bristly beard. It itched. F. Well, F's in the comments for Flynn, the very first onyx, who apparently had, that flow like a Lowland Doug trio. Mag Cargo. Its body is as hot as lava and is always billowing. Flames will occasionally burst from its shell. It has a big mouth and black eyes. It can be very aggressive. It looks almost exactly like a lobster. It hurts. It is alive. It is driving me insane. I feel it, crawling over me all the time. We were at the beach. I do yoga and read. I'm on my mat when I hear it. It sits on my mat and it says, "Sit," in a creepy voice. I sit. It says, "Relax," in a creepy voice. I relax. It says, "Close your eyes," in a creepy voice. I close my eyes. It says, "Imagine," in a creepy voice. I imagine. And you're gonna have to imagine what happens next, because there is no way I'm generating the next line of this story. Break out the water attacks. Macargo has to be stopped. Octillery. It traps enemies with its suction cup tentacles, then smashes them with its rock-hard head. Note, this creature is an amalgamation of various creatures of myth and folklore. For the most part, it is not a monster from any specific imaginary universe. The Tyrannosaurus Rex. The legendary king of monsters is the oldest and largest of all known dinosaurs. Its name comes from the Greek for lover of tyranny, Tyrannos, and the Brontosaurus, thunder lizard. Not actually a dinosaur. I love this. So, it's not a monster from any specific imaginary universe. Are you sure about that? And then just like all of this stuff about the T-Rex, like sounds like it could be correct, but it's just not. I'm pretty sure King of Monsters is the title of Godzilla. And Tyrannosaurus Rex does not mean lover of tyranny in Greek. And I guess if we're talking about octillery, yeah, it's not actually a dinosaur. Donphan. The longer and bigger its tusks, the higher its rank in the herd. The tusks take long to grow. The elephant grows in height and weight at a great speed in its first couple of years, and can gain as much as 2.5 feet every day. It makes up for this by growing only slow, so it makes a high rank. The elephants in the herd that fight the more frequently get a higher rank. This relation implies that the rank of an elephant is actually determined by the amount of time spent fighting or socializing. And for people who've been asking me about the size of my elephant, lol. The size is relative to the amount of time and effort that have been put into it. It's not really about size, it's about dominance. For my. So the first half of this is almost like a legitimate scientific entry, and then it just devolves into bragging about the size of my elephant. Lol. Elekid. It loves violent thunder. The space between its horns flickers bluish-white when it is charging energy. When it does this, the guitar erupts into a storm. Its voice is a bellow, a roar, a howl. It is a weapon with a soul. It is an instrument of power and magic and rage. It is an instrument of love, and it is a weapon of peace. It is not a guitar. It is the guitar. It is the only instrument in the world that can be played by a man, and a woman, and a child, and a horse, and a fish, and a bird, and a tree, and a rock, and a cloud, and a star, and a great white whale, and a sea cucumber. We don't need toxicity. We already have the guitar. And he's never getting canceled because everyone is included. Like, This is diversity. Even the sea cucumbers are in on this. Miltank. In order to milk a Miltank, one must have a knack for rhythmically pulling up and down on its udders. I've never had a knack for rhythmically pulling up and down on anything, so I decided to try milking a Miltank. I'm pretty sure the milk has made me very sick. I've been on a quest to milk more than one Miltank. I've learned a few things. 1. Miltank milk is gross. 2. Milking a Miltank is a lot of fun. 3. I've never had any real success milking a Miltank. 4. I've learned a lot about rhythmically pulling up and down on things. I'm still trying. So, I guess here's your imported cheese origin story. Before you can import cheese, you gotta make cheese. And before you can make cheese, you gotta get milk. Where do you get milk from? From a Miltank. How do you get milk out of a Miltank? To be continued, definitely not by me. I guess I'm still trying. Blissey. Biting into one of the delicious eggs that Blissey provides will make everyone around smile with joy. I've always enjoyed eggs, and I like them better when they're, well, not hard-boiled. The yolk should be runny and soft. This is the way I like to eat eggs. So I was surprised when the coordinator at the gym suggested I try laying the eggs in the morning, and then boiling them the night before, which I did. She suggested this because I'm more of a morning person, and she wanted to make sure I could get my workout in before the heat of the day. I've always had a hard time laying eggs. It's tough, and I'd never thought about using the microwave to do it, so I was excited to try. We've got the AI Dex, extended universe here, because we've got the gym coordinator back from the Smeargle entry, although, now they're female, I guess. We've got milk from the Miltank, and now we've got eggs laid by myself in the Blissey entry, so we've got a whole breakfast ready to go in the morning, assuming I boil them the night before, with Dialga's help, I guess. What is going on? Larvitar. Born deep underground, this Pokemon becomes a pupa after eating enough dirt to make a mountain. Other than the actual making of the pizza, the food itself was really just something to fill in the gap until we arrived at the actual event. A meet and greet with other Pokemon Go players. The event itself was a huge success. The pizza was a hit, and we met other people who were equally enthusiastic about the game. We really enjoyed the event, and it was a great way to end the day. I couldn't believe how much fun I'd had, racing through the park and catching Pokemon. But the pizza and the event were just appetizers. The meal itself was a real feast. We'd had a few drinks earlier, and I had a couple of beers at the event. But it wasn't until I got home, and my wife handed me my cell phone, that I... Larvitar setting up these crazy Pokemon Go events, handing out pizza. I wonder what I did. I guess I'll have to check my cell phone that I just got from my wife. Pupitar. Even sealed in its shell, it can move freely. Hard and fast, it has outstanding destructive power. What is it? Hint. It's not a turtle. It's a dinosaur. It's a dinosaur! And by the way, that's a common way to get the word dinosaur into your writing. You can use it as a verb or a noun. It's a dinosaur. It's a dinosaur. It's a dinosaur. Hint. Dinosaur. I love, the combination of, smug condescension, and by the way, that's a common way to get the word dinosaur into your writing. Just surrounded by absolute nonsense. One more stage, and then, it's a dinosaur. Tyranitar. Extremely strong. It can change the landscape. It has an insolent nature that makes it not care about others. It is happy to be in the middle of a fight. It will not give up. It is able to defeat many opponents. I use this image to describe the state of the world. It's a kind of crazy person, but it's a necessary kind of crazy. It's the kind of crazy that makes the world go round. It's the kind of crazy that will not accept the status quo. And it's the kind of crazy that makes you want to do things that are, in themselves, crazy. The world needs crazy. Tyranitar lives in a society By the way, Rock and Dark is a terrible typing, and I'm tired of pretending it's not. Look at the type chart. It's a disaster. Tyranitar is still really strong, though. It is indeed able to defeat many opponents. I just hope that when it's in the middle of a fight, it's not in the middle of fighting types, otherwise it's toast. Lugia. It is said that it quietly spends its time deep at the bottom of the sea because its powers are too strong. If you are looking for the magical place where the most powerful computer in the world is located, you will find it in the basement of Amazon's corporate headquarters. It is a room with a single window, and the view is of the parking lot, the loading docks, and employees entering and leaving the building. It is a place where the employees who build and maintain the infrastructure of a $1.6 trillion company work. The room is a place of quiet, of solitude, of deep contemplation. Its occupants are the people who have been working on the Amazon Echo device, the Kindle, and the Kindle Fire since the company's start. It is a place of quiet. Yo, isn't the plot of Pokemon the Movie 2000 about some, like, rich collector guy trying to catch Lugia? Dude, it was Jeff Bezos. Also, I don't think Amazon's actually worth 1.6 trillion. That is a lot. Ho-Oh. It'll reveal itself before a pure-hearted trainer by shining its bright, rainbow-colored wings. It was a very hot day in the Johto region, and I had been traveling for quite some time. I was exhausted. The poor Pokemon I was carrying on my back was exhausted too, and it was struggling to keep up with the pace I was setting. I was determined to reach the next town before nightfall, and would have been happy to do so as long as I was able. But my journey was not going the way I had planned. "I told you so," said a voice. "You should have listened to me." A rustling noise, and I looked up to find myself face to face with a young girl. She was dressed in a green long-sleeve shirt and khaki shorts, and her hair was tied into a high ponytail. She was smiling at me, and she had a rather cute pair of blue eyes. "You could have saved yourself a lot of trouble," she said. "But you didn't. You're still gonna have to pay the price." She brandished a long, thin silver blade in one hand. I was momentarily... Yo, this AI is so good! Like, I think it figured out from Trainer and Rainbow Wings that we were in the Johto region because we're talking about Ho-Oh. Then we get this whole narrative that leads into, like, this Poke Emblem crossover. We're, like, fighting a Myrmidon waifu. We're about to get crit. I'm sure that's the next sentence. So, I mean, we lose this fight, but did we really lose? This is so cool! Celebi. When Celebi disappears deep in a forest, it is said to leave behind an egg it brought from the future. This egg is called the Kanto Egg, and a young boy with a passionate interest in Pokemon named Satoshi found it. You'll find an egg like the Kanto Egg in the Pokemon manga, which is a property of a Japanese entertainment company called Nintendo. The Kanto Egg is the ultimate prize for Pokemon trainers. It grants them the power to enter the legendary Pokemon world. The Kanto Egg is a code name for a generic object that you can use to simulate the effect of a legendary Pokemon in battle. That's what the Kanto Egg is in the context of the Pokemon world. In the world of software, it's called a prototype. The term prototyping comes from the fact that the earliest versions of software are simple, crude, and inefficient. A prototype is the first version of something that's not perfect. Nintendo doesn't call it a prototype. It calls it a Game Boy. Full of bugs? Ship it! Pokemon Green! People will buy it. Satoshi is, Ash's name in Japanese, by the way. You've heard of the bad egg, but we're gonna go on a hunt for the Kanto Egg. Maybe if I find it, I can finally stop making YouTube videos for you goons and enter the legendary world of Pokemon. Well, I can dream, right?
Alright, Professor Elm. What do you think?
This?
This is fucking nonsense.
Hey, thanks for watching the video all the way to the end. If you liked it and want to see more, the link to the full video should be in the description, or on the top right side of the screen right about now-ish. Be sure to let me know your favorite entries in the comments below. Thanks as always to the mighty Patreons. Your names should be on screen now. Your support makes this possible. Please like and subscribe, join the Discord, perhaps evolve into a Patreon, all of that YouTuber stuff. Thanks for watching. This has been Imported Cheese, and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.